Hey, Airwield. Merci pour le 4 mois sub. It's always nice to see you here. So thank you for the support. Kazi, Vol, Tanya, Gravito, Drac, Happy Wheel, and Marguerite. Nice to see you all. And Jack, what's up? Hey, Gro, it has been a little bit. I'm trying to think of the last time you were here, maybe, that I can remember. Like a month ago or so? Let me see. I'm always curious with this, like, yeah, about that. Okay. All right. Just seeing my how my brain's doing. Work. Gotcha. Yeah, that's the that's one of the classics. The three: work, life, school. That's what people usually say. But it is nice to see you. All right, we are definitely into hands are cold season. We'll be like that for months. So, we should do some just stuff where I'm warming up. Quite literally. I should find like one piece that's perfect for that, where I can sort of just like crawl around with my left hand. That'd be nice. Something where I'm trying to think what would be the characteristics of it. You'd sort of crawl around with your left hand, and then the right hand would be pretty consistent with some sort of arpeggio, something like that. I think that would lead to a good overall good warm-up. Maybe we can kind of do that with this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, typically epic people don't. It's not a self-claim of epicness, you could say. At the same time, I mean, if if someone is epic, I feel like that wouldn't be based on them saying they are or they aren't. What that would then mean is that they wouldn't be able to negate their epicness, unless it actually is partially based on the way they speak of themselves. I feel like that had some good crawling going on. But that reminded me midway through. Saying you're amazing does mean you're great, though. See, I think if things have, this has become its own question of the day. Alpha One, welcome in. You could maybe look at it. This is what I was thinking about while playing this. There are things that are based on people's perceptions of you that are that very much are really tied into the thing you're potentially describing about yourself. Do I take requests? I do not. But there are some things you could say that just have nothing to do with a person's perception of your personality or something. Now those things will alter. Those things can definitely alter. If someone has an attitude or something, or is really arrogant or something, it can make people less likely to look at them in a positive light. If someone's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so talented and so smart and so amazing, it's like, but in a certain sense, it shouldn't actually change that. Maybe the amazing part, but it really, the person making a claim about themselves doesn't actually affect their skill level of whatever it is they're talking about. So it kind of depends on how we interpret it, whether it's people's perceptions of the person or whether it's you could say objectively, whatever their skill level is, or to get back to the original thing, whatever their epicness, however you measure being epic. Thanks, Paul. Oh, is this the new, is this the new bot there? I feel like I haven't seen... Thanks, Jack. I feel like I haven't seen many of those bots in a while. I feel like it's been a couple months. Like, why does it start with that? It sizzles. Tss. Hey, I feel like it should be like, psst. Psst. Buy viewers, followers, primes. On Mischief Store. Psst, hey, over here. Buy followers. Hey. Also, Vol, you're working on Ragtime? What? I feel like these slower pieces are good for this right now, helping. That last one, definitely, I picked that on purpose. There's definitely a lot of sort of crawling around, like I was talking about. But there's almost like nothing going on with the right hand. Psst, hey, more subs. I know it's not. What's up, ASDF? Good evening. Yeah, we can just do this anyway. I wanted to try something different. I feel like that would have worked though. Actually, what I really should just do is go. Oh, I thought that was Beth subbing. Vol, thank you for gifting 3 months of a sub to ASDF. ASDF definitely, I think they've earned it. Thank you, Vol, for the support. Also, Beth, what's up? Did you end up going to the gym? You did? Nice. There's some fingerings that are like, you kind of have to, there's some that are like, if you could do them, and you don't take into consideration the chances of maybe missing it or like potential discomfort, some of them are like, oh, musically they're kind of like, they can be really nice, but it's like, oh, do I always want to do that? That's not one of them though, but yeah. That you started with a lot of appreciation. Well, I appreciate the increase in appreciation. It's yeah. So Beth, think about that. It's and then how would you put like? And so when it comes to sight reading that stuff and kind of like doing it on the fly, or maybe there's something like this where I haven't actually thought out the fingerings ahead of time, and think about all the stuff we talked about just for that one thing. And then I think people don't realize it's all the time, and it's no fault of their own. But like the things you see, like, you know, we were just talking about this a few minutes ago, how you talk about yourself and saying nice things. But to be totally honest, the things, I think for most people, the things that I do on stream, if I do it properly, just kind of go unnoticed. Like, I don't think people really sometimes, and it's not that I'm like the best in the world at playing guitar or sight reading or just reading music or coming up with fingerings or whatever. But it's like, I don't think people realize how much is actually going into it. It's hard. It is. It's super hard. it's so awkward. Like, I don't think people realize how awkward some of this stuff is too. Like, it's so, the guitar is not, I mean, not that any instrument is just easy, but like, man, there are some things that are just like really annoying. Already, what's up? Thank you for the 8-month resub. I don't know why I said it like that. I put like a lot of thank you for the 8-month resub. How are you doing? I appreciate the support. Also, hello. I think so. You really don't understand nothing about music, and it's probably the same for many people. Yeah, it can make it, like, I'd always like the resulting music, you know, whatever it is, to be the sort of ultimate thing to be focused on. But you can't always do that. Well, you can, but it'd be nice if there was some way to be like, hey, I'm sight reading a piece of music right now. That means I'm looking at it for the very first time and doing all this stuff without practicing it or anything. Like, and even then, I don't know if people, I don't think it would completely come across what actually needs to be like going down for that to work out the way it does. But that being said, let's see here. Bastiana. How are you doing? Also. And thanks for the claps. This one has a bunch of crawling around, but I don't know about. Maybe we can move away from Bach anyway. Ever since you moved, you haven't been able to catch the stream so much. It happens. I wanted to say hi when I saw you online and not in bed. Well, I appreciate you coming by and saying hey. Hopefully the change, although you aren't able to be here as much, hopefully it's an overall good change. Can I do green sleeves? I can, Rotobo. Wait, this could be nice. To England and got married, so I'd say, oh, congrats. Congratulations. I don't know. Oh, man. Man, I love that chord progression. It's on its own. A few of those chords in there are like, man, there's nothing happy about it. There's nothing. It's like, but in the context of everything around it, it ends up sounding really nice. It's these chords. actually help. Yeah, some of the movements here are a little tricky. Part of the reason I had that question of the day today is I had a strange dream last night, but it was weird. I felt like I was, even in the middle of the dream, like justifying or like rationalizing all the weird things that were happening, which I feel like doesn't, at least for me, doesn't usually happen. Like maybe you can think about it afterwards, but I was like, oh, this makes sense because of this. Like, even though in terms of, obviously in terms of reality and physics and stuff, it didn't make any sense. Didn't make any sense. I feel like my mind's doing a better job today of sorting this stuff out. I felt Billy Sebastian. Billy Sebastian. I do not. Belle the Amazing Dog. I don't. Thanks for the claps. Erlenmeyer, or maybe Erlenmeyer, like the flask, Erlenmeyer flask. Welcome in. Oh, you're sub to Bagheera. Okay. Bienvenue, Erlenmeyer. We're just playing a bunch of Dowland stuff right now. Hello Nova 0777777777. Welcome in. I welcome you and your many sevens. Okay, speaking of I should do some of these. Not Dowland stuff, but where the hell are they? Twitch recommended your channel. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I watch her sometime. I'm a big fan of that community of streamers that she's a part of. In fact, Little Big Whale just raided the stream last night, which is always nice to have them around. For my college days, no, this is, man, I'm trying to think of the percentage. I feel like most of this is from stuff from after college. Yeah, this is mostly stuff I've just like learned on my own. Almost all the Renaissance stuff. Guys, by the time I graduated, I only knew one piece by John Dowland, The Frog Galliard. Now look at how far we've come. There was that. There was in here. There's the first cello suite. Man, what else that's actually in here? What did I do in college? Yeah, most of this is most of this I was my own doing. It's one of the reasons I don't focus on if you guys have noticed, I typically don't talk about a lot of my experiences in college in terms of music. Not because there's anything wrong with it or something, but I think just the I'm actually sure that the majority of my experience and learning and all that stuff has actually happened outside of what I learned in school. That stuff was all super important. Don't get me wrong. In fact, it was like crucial. But that was like the basics. Even after 4 years as like majoring in music, that's why I try to tell people like that was the basics. Basics. Music theory, theory, performance stuff, repertoire, listening skills, stuff, history, knowledge, all that stuff was like, it was just the basics. And the rest of the time since graduating has been on my own. Most of the stuff I've learned. Hey, Ray, you're learning math courses with music? Nice. Thank you for the subscription. Merci beaucoup, Ray. I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. The basics are massively important. That's why I wanted to make sure I was like, let me just be clear that like it was incredibly important that I learned this stuff first. But that's just doing that and then learning more things and then also applying the things you've learned just takes so much time. Like a lot of time. Like a lot. And I don't think there's ever a time when you go, okay, I just know all the stuff now. I finally learned all the things. So it's just kind of a constant, you're just like constantly learning more stuff. Like, maybe I can actually bring this up, although I don't know how much Vol is listening, because I learned about, we learn about augmented six chords. You know, you'll learn about that in school. And you'll learn some stuff about it, but I don't, at least me, I can't absorb an entire textbook's worth of information and then be able to apply it. But even if you could, it's like you can't say everything there is to say about a particular topic in a book. That partially has to do with how there can be multiple ways of thinking about or approaching whatever it is you're talking about. Like, it's easy to describe it in one way. You could be like, this chord is a C major chord. Wesh la street. Tanguy. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You know what? I'm just a French zoomer. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But it's like, okay, so we could talk about like, okay, this is a C major chord. But then you can talk about the intervals between it, and you can talk about that in relation to whatever key it is, and you can talk about how these notes can function, and then you can talk about if adding more notes into the chord. Like there's just so much that can be part of every little bit of music. Jacob Collier doesn't do this. It's exactly what he does. That's like he more so than his music itself, him as a person and a musician helped me start to make more connections, more of these connections that I'm talking about. And there's a reason, and actually, depending on which Twitch extensions you have, you may or may not see Jacob's face just pop up in chat right there. But I can give you an example of one of the, this is just another thing. I learned about augmented six chords, 15 years ago or something. I could build them and spell them and everything. What's up, Cheap Asian? How are you doing? So if I were to do this, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, that's like kind of a typical... Okay, that's where you may see this chord. So this is this is one example of an augmented six chord. And one of the things I noticed while playing a piece a few days ago is that, okay, this chord goes to this one. This is kind of like an A flat 7 chord. Yo, Nadia, welcome back. And Famina Meow, thank you for the raid. What's up? Here, let me play something really quickly, and then I'll I'll go back to the nerdy stuff I was talking about. Unless you guys want to hear about augmented 6 chords, huh? Yeah? You guys like augmented 6 chords? Femina, thank you again for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Unfortunately, I don't speak Polish, although I think I recognize vodka. And a bunch of Bob's emotes. Did I get that one right? But welcome in, everybody. My name's Rafi. I go by Schnaff, although you can use either. That's just a nickname. My main thing is guitar, but as you kind of saw when you were first coming in here, when you first arrived, that we were talking about some music stuff, which I like to do to add sort of music discussions into this stuff. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Mr. Liasim. I don't know if that's how you say that. Have I ever asked before? Welcome in. Augmented 6 chords. That's right. That's right. And so I was talking about how you can learn a certain thing, and this isn't just saying that English is dead in my chat. Yeah, it's just it happens. It happens. This isn't specific to music, but this is just where my area of expertise is. But I'm assuming it branches out to all sorts of areas of life and learning. We were talking about this chord. It looks like A flat 7, which normally would just do this. But it doesn't, it does this. Because it's actually not an A flat 7 chord. But what I kind of realized was like, oh, there's something. What could possibly be similar about an A flat dominant 7th chord and a D dominant 7th chord? So an A flat 7 chord and D7. How could those be anywhere near the same? Like, that's crazy, but how could this be? Well, this is a D7 chord. And I realized there are 2 notes in common between them, 2 very important notes. In jazz, these are considered your guide tones. And they kind of tell you maybe where to go. It's going to be the flat 7 of whatever chord and the 3rd. So this in D goes to G. So they're in this chord, they still have the same function. And it's sort of a way not to justify a chord, because you don't need to justify chords, but if you want to, it's more about making connections between things. And so you can be like, oh, this is going, somehow this chord is going to G. Well, it's like, oh, because it's really similar to this. And that definitely goes to G all the time. We hear it. I don't know how to say this. Carl, maybe. Thank you for the Prime sub. And Yellow Koala, nice to see you. How's the throat? It's all right. It doesn't really feel much different, which I guess isn't a bad thing. It doesn't feel worse. It's how we assign moods to scales and chords. Yeah, it just has like a different feeling to it. And in more of a jazz sense, it can actually be used, you can think of this as a tritone substitution. So there's this connection between D7 and A flat 7 and augmented 6 chords and tritone substitutions, even though they seem like they're, in terms of the chronological way of thinking, in terms of history, they're quite far apart. It's so wildly different. I mean, kind of. Yeah, I mean, it depends on like how detailed we get and what aspects we're talking about, whether it's like melodic aspects, harmonic aspects like we were just talking about, naming things, notating things, instrumentation. There's all sorts of stuff, but as you can see, this is somewhere where there's actually something very much in common. And just to be clear, I didn't do that so that you guys could then pass a quiz talking about augmented sixth chords, and it was just an example of something that, 15 years after first being introduced to this chord, I learned something new about it, and it wasn't something I learned at school. It's not going to be on the test. There isn't even a test, unless you want a test. You guys want a test? We'll have the test next week. When I come back from TwitchCon, it'll give you more time to study. You forgot to take notes? Ask someone after class. Not right now, though. All right, what was I going to do? Okay. I'm looking for like something in particular, but I forgot where it went. It's right here. This is a new piece, so give me a little bit of a break. These parts are it's tough to do this and not have it just feel like a total run-on sentence, that's what it feels like to me at the moment. Sasquatch, for me personally, it's my left hand for sure. Like, it's just like absolutely my left hand for multiple reasons. The name of the piece before and after playing it. This is just an allemande, which is a dance form by Francis Cutting, the same person who Greensleeves is like typically attributed to. Also, what's up, Brian? Like a spelling bee, yeah, exactly. The name of the piece, play it, and then the name of the piece. Here's another one that's a pain in the butt. Entrée de lutte by Robert Ballard. The Canadian national anthem. I could say, oh, oh, Canada. That's right, good old Frankie Cutting. You guys know Frankie Cutting. This is going from, we're just transitioning into, from the Renaissance to the Baroque era with this one. Whoops. Oh, this is... Let me try that again. In the beat. This one's got a lot going on. Commit a federal crime when they sing the national anthem of another country? That may be true. I believe that is a true statement. And by true, I mean false. This is another one. Oh! Entrée de lutte by Robert Ballard. Next up in the program, Aria con variazioni della Frescobaldi by Girolamo Frescobaldi. But yeah, aria, variations by Frescobaldi. So you'll hear the, there's two sections of the main theme, I guess you could say. That repeats, then there's a second section. You'll hear that little thing, and then you get the variations. What's up, Zua? Yeah, this is a, I really like the melody for this one. And Hatali, nice to see you as well. Do I ever write lyrics for these tunes? No, no. That I have not done. What was going on with this one? Just a second. Replicate the mistake. It sounded pretty complex. In terms of there kind of being like multiple voices and stuff sometimes, yeah, for sure. Also, I like partially filed one of my nails, but didn't. Hold on. Let me do this so I don't cut myself. I forgot because I never. Yeah, there are it's not like the difficulties can be relative, and then obviously not every measure of every piece is the same difficulty as the one that came before it, and but yeah, there's some little moves that can be tricky. And I know for me, for some reason, anything that involves the separation of these two fingers it's always like one of my biggest weaknesses. Like quite literally. So I don't know what was happening with that before. This is another one. This is totally different, but this one, as many of you have been here, as I've mentioned and played it before, isn't easy at all. Yeah, I have sort of extra trouble with a little bit of it due to a you could say like a genetic abnormality, where the two muscles that like are used to actually control the fingers, which are here, are like overly connected. They like don't deviate as soon as they should, so it makes the separation of fingers sort of extra tricky, which for guitar is not good. Which is one of the reasons why I'm very much looking forward to in hopefully about 6 months receiving the new guitar that I'm having be built, which has slightly smaller dimensions so that it'll make things a little easier. But this this stuff is a pain in the butt. If only I could just really just curve that finger in, that would be so convenient. La Catedral by Agustin Barrios, at least the first and second movements. augmented 6 chord here. Thanks for the claps. It's interesting, a piano that has narrower keys. The thing that's so tricky about a piano and like other instruments that you can't really take with you is that if you learn on one thing and you're constantly playing or like performing on other instruments, if that size changes, it can like mess you up. But for so many other instruments like the guitar, I just don't see why you wouldn't customize the physical parts of it, the scale, the shape, and everything to fit the person who's playing. Because it's like, so if someone's like, no, this guitar is like, this size is fine for me. It's like, well, if this is good for me, shouldn't a bigger guitar be the best for someone who has like larger hands or more of a reach or something like that? Like I don't see why two different shapes should fit the same form, to kind of put it most simply. You can't imagine playing a larger guitar. I just don't really see why anyone would need to. Like, that's another thing too. It's like why? But and it's not just me too. I see people playing that, like, man, it really just doesn't look very natural. What's up, Raccoon? I can't imagine playing a smaller guitar. I have played smaller guitars. And everything just feels more relaxed and more comfortable and easier. And I don't see why you wouldn't do that. Again, especially if it doesn't affect the sound. It's like, why are we doing this? What is this like? I feel like we're playing a little game of like being a tough guy. But it's not about like, it's like, why aren't you trying to find the thing that fits you? Like I don't understand. You wouldn't go to like a basketball player or something, or like an athlete, and be like, wear bigger shoes. Bigger shoes, damn it. I just read size. Right? Wear bigger shoes. It's like, dude, those shoes do not fit me. It's like, you should be able to make it work. It's like, or I can find shoes that fit my feet. I should probably do that. Or you're looking for an easier way out. It's like, no, I'm looking for the proper thing. Maximize the potential. Hey, what's up, Indria? Yeah, so there's gonna be standard sizes and stuff. That makes sense. Like, when you start getting like custom instruments and stuff, it's like, why not? And the guitar community, at least, fortunately, since I started, has already started to come around to that sort of thing, where this scale of 650 millimeters from the nut here to the saddle, people are more commonly, not more commonly, because this is still the most common thing, but it's sort of more acceptable than before to have this scale be maybe 640 millimeters or 630. And same thing with these guitar supports. It's like, well, people for hundreds of years didn't use a guitar support. It's like, yeah, well, people for hundreds of years had back problems. It's like, what the hell is wrong? Good job. Yeah, no, what else do you not want to progress on because people did it before you? Yeah, no, let's keep going down the list. Doofus. That's right. I'm calling them doofuses. Aurora, welcome in, and thank you for the follow earlier. The augmented. Think that way they do. Yeah, it's like, guys, don't do that. This was the This is the thing I was talking about earlier. If we're in C minor, it looks like a a dominant 7th chord built off of the 6th scale degree, or I guess you could say flat 6 if it's but there's 3 different kinds. So there's an Italian, which for one doesn't have the what would be the 5th. The German augmented 6 does, and the French augmented 6th has what you could call like a sharp 4. But that's really similar. Even this sharp 4 here, it's like, well, how can we kind of make sense of this too? I was saying before to the people who were here before that both of these chords can go to G major because they both have a C natural and an F sharp. And so what that means is that these 2 guide tones are doing the same thing. So if we do this, well, this is like almost an overlap of those 2 chords. It's partly D7 with a flat 5. Or A flat 7 with a flat 5. But it's the fact that these 2 notes are there. And so once these 2 notes are there, you can start adding in all sorts of other stuff to alter these chords. But the way we heard it, even in the last piece I played, yeah, it's so you can justify it as like a secondary dominant chord or a dominant chord towards G because it's just the same as it has the same 2 key notes as this dominant chord towards G. Right, so it's like doing the same, it's just doing the same thing. And Paul, this is what I was talking about on Discord about this thing, that I like never really put that together. It's like, oh, wait a second, they're just the, and this is kind of why tritone substitutions in jazz work, because that's really like what this is. If you're in G major, and you do 2, 5, 1. Well, you could do 2 and substitute in a dominant 7th chord, a tritone away from your 5 chord. So instead of D7, you make it A flat 7. And now you kind of have in 2 different musical styles and stuff, the same sort of thing functioning here. So if you really just focus on this and you add a bunch of other stuff to it, you can kind of just, you could even go like, because now this is C diminished. Whoops. Which actually, if you see here, and C diminished still has these 2 notes. I guess in this sense it'd be F sharp diminished, but it doesn't really matter. A flat 7 didn't know it's called. Well, it just depends on the context. The what you would have as the name of it, because if this is a G flat. If this is a G flat, this is an A flat 7 chord. And that G flat goes down a half step and C goes up a half step But in an augmented 6 chord, the reason it's an augmented 6 chord is because this is not a G flat anymore, it's an F sharp. And so A flat to F is a major 6th. So if you raise that, it's an augmented 6th. And so F sharp goes up to G. And it's one of the reasons why, like, when we talk about, people aren't like, well, isn't this, aren't aren't F sharp and G flat the same thing? It's like, the pitches are the same in equal temperament, but their functions aren't necessarily the same depending on the musical context. Do I just take 5, but it's Song of Storms? I do not, Perseus. Although I feel like I can kind of imagine it, like something like that. Doing something like that. More jazz, though. We need more jazz. Thanks for the explanation. You are very welcome. Yeah, I mean, I think they would too, ASDF. I almost hope people would be. I've talked about this and like thought about it for a long time since I've been on Twitch. That I know that in some sense the curiosity and the interest is there, because we see it on YouTube and other platforms, but it just doesn't seem to be there on Twitch. What people typically are looking for here is more of a performance-based thing. Salut, Dino. How are you doing? It's Song of Storm from Ocarina of Time, yeah. Sneak in the education. That's what I try to do. It's a difficult balance. It's really difficult, because even just the performance stuff can be tough, because because not only is it not performance stuff, it's not request either. So it's like, oh man. And that's really what people are looking for on this platform. Hey, what's up, Yawning Side? Oh, you got hit by the bot. You got hit by the bot. You like math? So do I. There's like 60 Symbols is a channel I've seen a bunch of videos of. I like informational content. It seems like you do too. Educational content, stuff like that. Regardless of whether I actually really know about it or not. There's oh man, what's the channel called? Discerning Gamer? Discerning Gamer? And it talks all about code and coding video games. And I know nothing about code, but I've able to, just by I feel like by not giving up and not letting myself get overwhelmed by what they're talking about in the videos, I've let myself learn a lot about this stuff without actually knowing how I would go about programming a game. Aborgan, welcome back. How are you doing? I think that's a misconcept. It's literally impossible for people. What do you put into search to find music theory? I mean, you could. So, okay. So how do we do? Because here's the thing. You now have, just recently, we have the options to put whatever tags we want. So I could put music theory as a tag, which, speaking of, I don't have that. So what I could do, I'm literally going to do it right now. Okay. Okay. Music theory. Add tag. So if someone were to look, they can search. Maybe we can try this out. I don't know if someone wants to try to search. Yo, what's up, Redbeard? With an actual red name. You were yellow yesterday. Well, goldish. Yeah. But that is like not part of the you could say the Twitch culture to search in the same way you search for stuff on YouTube. And then YouTube has sort of is sort of the opposite, where it's not part of that culture to kind of just like search to like browse for live streams. Whereas that's just really all you do on Twitch. And there does seem to be, so like there's some truth in that. I was the top hit. Hell yeah. That's good. Nice. And so there's some truth in that like it's difficult for people to find what they want to see. When they can find what they want to see, it's not very likely that people will, because they haven't sort of been like trained to do it. But then the third thing is where I think it's not a misconcept, is that so often when it's reflected in the majority of people's responses to myself or someone else talking about these things, where typically I've only ever seen people go, stop talking and play music, but I've never seen someone go, dude, stop playing music and just talk about the music already. Like that doesn't, you don't see that anywhere, ever, at all. So you can also see it reflected in support for streams in terms of financial support and numbers in terms of viewers, activity in the chat, number of subscriptions, donations, and all that stuff. So in that sense, it's definitely very, very real that what people are typically looking for are going to be, they're going to go to a place and be like, I want to request a song and play it, and that's like going to be the format of the stream. That's just what it is. And it's no surprise why that is either. So, but I wish it wasn't that way though. Well, it's not even, I think there can be some dance monkey dance to it, but I think it really, I've started to get the impression really that it's like people are looking at it as almost like a radio station or something, if that makes sense. They're like, they want to just, they want to go onto a stream and maybe have it in the background, right? Most people are lurking in almost every stream ever. And so they just want you to play music, so someone just starts talking a bunch and they just leave and they find music elsewhere. So, Species Counterpoint? We've talked a bit about Species Counterpoint. I'd love to do that. Stop the music. Dude, stop playing music. See, Nadia's here for the music. Right? So it gets tough. So then when you have people but too lazy to switch now, yes, that's right, laziness. Yes. And talk about music theory. I know, right? So that's exactly what you're looking for. Nice. And well, this is a good place. So finding that balance, what kind of happens, which is unfortunate, is when you go like, you play music and the people who are maybe Aurora's looking for people breaking down music, so they go and leave. And then Nadia's looking for someone to play music, so then when I go and talk about music, that person leaves. And so what you do is, instead of grabbing multiple people, at least from what I've seen, is instead of grabbing multiple people, you push out multiple people. Which is, I don't think, what anybody wants. And that's why it's tricky to not just focus on one thing. But yeah. Should I try this one again? The how do we do this? I think I did it somewhere else. See you next time. All right, Nadia, thank you for coming by and hanging out. I'm glad I could play some music for you. Thank you for sticking around as we talked about the stuff too. Oh, so the two songs were the Kakariko Village music from, well, first from A Link to the Past, and then Peaceful Days, which is some of the overworld music from Chrono Trigger. That's what it was. Let's see. Time for you to go to bed too. You gotta wake up in 5 hours. Uh-oh. Yeah, definitely get some sleep. Bonne nuit, Marguerite. Thank you for hanging out. Good night. Goddess of Thunder, Thorina. Thanks for the follow. These are going to be some study pieces by Fernando Sor, who was a Spanish classical guitarist from the late 18th, early 19th century. Oh, you saw one of the originals by Claire? Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot in that. It's kind of, yeah. few sore studies. I wonder if I can try reading through some other ones that I never play. Where does he want it? Really? Well, I guess Segovia fingered these, and this is what I mean by. Oops. What's up, Captain? Are studies kind of like exercises? Yeah, they're like a larger scale version or something. You can think about it as sometimes the composer will pick something specific for that they want to target for the person to work on. I'm assuming for this one it was having moving bass lines while the top voice is relatively static, at least in comparison. So like so the top voice is just going. Luca, welcome in. I'm just chilling. I'm feeling it. I've been a tiny bit sick the past few days, so trying to take it relatively easy, but I can still play music and stream, so. secondary boost. Yeah, the booster. The other 3 times I got vaccinated, the 2 initial vaccines and the first booster I got, I felt no different. And this one, I just I felt horrible. The cobbler. I'm not sure. If I have played it, I don't know where to find it. Again, it may have been in a big collection of smaller pieces. I'll do this. Bonjour, Fofi. Ça va? Surprise 2 hour meeting? That's the best kind of meeting. That's almost as awesome as a pop quiz. And hola Fer, ¿cómo estás? Thanks for the claps. These are some movements from the second violin partita in D minor by Bach, for those who are curious. Tired but fine, I feel you. The stream's going alright. I'm feeling more aware and sort of more together than I was yesterday, but I'm still not feeling the best. So, looks like we're both struggling a tiny bit. Yo, what's up, Travis? How's it going? Whoops. Do I think that anyone comes close to Bach? Uh, well, in any time period, I don't think there's anyone that compares to him in terms of pure musical architecture, I guess you could say. And I use the term architecture as opposed to like composition. Because the things he seemed to be able to get to like to put together, I've mentioned this on stream before, is it almost seems impossible. It seems impossible if it weren't like if it weren't for actually seeing and hearing it exist, it'd be like, that's impossible. There was, yeah, Sylvius Leopold Weiss, but it doesn't seem to be on the quite on the same level. There was Vivaldi was a contemporary, Handel was a contemporary. They all, I mean, they did different things and tended to focus on different stuff. But like, for example, Bach never wrote an opera or anything like that. But you could argue he wrote things that are potentially, or you could argue are more dramatic than some operas. But I think Bach is season. Yeah, I've mentioned this many times on stream before that sometimes I struggle when it comes to favorites, good versus bad, best versus worst, and stuff like that. Especially as people start to differ in terms of styles and stuff like that. But it can become difficult to compare. And at a certain point, you don't struggle with your, okay. How are you doing, Claire? I love seeing all these people in chat. All these people who are enjoying seeing each other around. I just wanted to sense if most people think of him as the best Baroque composer. There is something workday and put on your headphones to hear my dumb voice. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. There is something that seems to be timeless about his music. Although, like I just played a Sarabande by him. There's something that's just, there can be something that seems to be less, not formulaic, but Mikey Man Music Guy. What's up? Welcome in. Most versatile. Could you go into more detail? I don't even necessarily disagree. I'm just curious. There was certainly, man, that's the thing. So yeah, that's another aspect. It's like musical versatility. Like Scarlatti was quite prolific, but at least in terms of what we know him by in his keyboard sonatas, like not the most versatile stuff. Even Vivaldi is like, okay, it's like, yeah, you have the Four Seasons, but then like so many of Vivaldi's concertos, regardless of what instrument they're for, are like I feel like it takes 2 seconds and it's just like, at least for me, it's like, okay, Vivaldi. It's just like super quick, which is not to take away from it, but it's just to speak to versatility. What's up, Count? I heard in a masterclass recently Elliot Fisk talking about this exact thing and bringing up Vivaldi, and that people are like, Vivaldi just did one trick over and over again. And it's like, you try to do even one trick well. You try to be great at even one thing. It's not as easy as you think. And so, as a slightly aside thing, like, I would almost use that as an encouragement to people an encouragement to people who are artists who are trying to do something and constantly just trying to be different, even different from themselves. And it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know if you should, not that it's a bad thing to think about, but like, how do you put it? It's like, give yourself some credit if you feel like you've done something really well. And you're like, but I always sort of do this. It's like, I don't know, give yourself credit even if you think that one thing, even if it's not the most diverse thing. It's like... Also, if I see those guess the piece with 1 second challenges, I've seen some of them. I can do some of the guitar ones. There was one the other day where someone went, and I was like, that's Asturias. Did Bach compose for guitar? He did not. And even the things he composed for the lute is arguably not for the lute. Hey, Kit, how are you doing? Okay, I feel like Mozart had such a deep understanding of all the instruments and how they interacted together more than other composers. Yeah, I'm trying to, like... I can say, because these are somewhat personal things, you could say, like... I can say for me, the thing that there's a few things that stick out. No way. Oh, what, the Asturias thing? Dude, I'm dead serious. Guys, don't. It's hard to explain. Certain things just can strike you as I don't know. You've just heard it a bunch of times. You played it. Mozart seems to stick out to me in terms of, you could say, pure musical talent. So maybe the closest thing to, without even being religious, being like God-given abilities or something. Something that seems inhuman. There's like that aspect of it. It's like, as an all-around musician, like the prodigy of prodigies, supernatural, these type of words, which I don't think of with like many other people in that way. I don't think of Bach in that way. Even when it comes to doing unbelievable things, it's like unbelievable in a different type of way. Then there's like a sense of sort of simplicity and elegance that I don't know how Mozart gets away with it. Where you can write something and it's like on the paper, and just thinking about it, it's like, what? This is almost like kind of like a kid wrote this, or there's like almost something childlike about it, or just so simple, like it shouldn't be good, but it's like it's as complex or as simple as it needs to be. Meaning, it's like he wrote at certain times all that needed to be written. And that by just adding more notes to whatever it is or making it more complex wouldn't have necessarily made it better. And that's what this sort of elegance to it is just like, oh, how can you make something so simple? Like, okay. Who knows what... How? How did he get away with that? Everyone knows that. Is that how it just goes straight? It goes straight into your bones. It just goes straight into you, and it could not be any simpler. It is just a G major chord. It's your one chord, G major. And then your 5 chord, D7. It's just this. What's up, Scarlett? Advertising hook before it was a thing. And it's like, and it's not even this. It's not. It's not that. It's just everyone's playing the same notes. The texture, you'd say, is homophonic. May, what's up? You love E7? So it's like even adding more to it's everyone's just playing one and they're just outlining the 1 chord and the 5 chord, and somehow through the choice of like how to arpeggiate it and how to actually do that, because that's different than those two things are different, but it's basically the same notes. But for some reason, now there is some loveliness in terms of form to this, because this first part that's like the question, the answer. So this one kind of goes up, and the response, the dominant chord, goes down. And then again, something like that, and it's like, what? And just below. Secondary dominant. It's like it's just so simple. It's so straightforward. I forget where it goes from there, and it's just like, it's like a kid singing something. But it's way better than if you were way better than so much stuff that's way more complex. There's nothing crazy about any of the chords or chord changes that I did. There's nothing crazy going on melodically. There's stuff like this that's like, it's just, and also for those who aren't aware, forgive me when it comes to the execution of this stuff because I'm just using my ear and stuff. But I mean, again, one chord. What's up, Christy? It's like it's just a scale. Let's move down a note and do a scale. Down one more. It's just so simple. Now I made that up and that wasn't Mozart, but like it's like this this sense of form and elegance and simplicity is like it's just crazy. And then on top of it, he was another one of those people along with Bach. He did have the ability to put together these crazy musical structures in terms of writing really dense, complex things from previous styles. So for those who aren't aware, it's like Bach is in the Baroque era. Mozart comes right after him in the classical era. But Mozart was still able to write crazy, complicated fugues and stuff like that and put that into different things. So like, and use it musically, because it's very often fugues can be seen as academic. And a lot of times, if they're approached that way, well, they will be. Like, that's... But to use something, to actually use it, as opposed to, without being sort of too poetic about it, as opposed to having, I think that's when it's really academic, is when people, outside of it actually being an exercise in school. When people have the fugue or the form or whatever it is they're doing, it like uses them. They do it for the sake of doing it or something, and they don't make it work for them. So I'll give you an example of what I... So fugues, for one, can often be very heavy. They can be very just like grave and just like really both intellectually and like emotionally intense and dense and just... And so this Requiem that Mozart wrote, he uses there's sometimes actual fugues, and then there's things that have fugue-like elements, these elements of imitation. And so if I do this, 1 second. I mean, this is just... I am not a fan of this. What's up, Reiko? I want to get to 1 second. Okay. So just beautiful lyrical thing. Hey, thanks, May. Thank you for the support. This is very like Baroque, and it's a. But what I want to get, there's a fugal section, and as a kid, my parents would play this. I didn't know what I was listening to, but it was just my favorite thing ever. This. And this is, you hear this thing, I've mentioned this before, that a lot of times you'll hear something really dense in terms of musically, you can see it's dense, everything is lined up, and you get this thing, oh man, they're like in a halfway key thing. It's like you get this really huge, thick like texture here, boom, pause, and then you hear one thing come in, and you can almost guarantee there's going to be imitation of some sort. So it's just like right? It just looks like chords outside of this stuff here. Augmented 6 chord. Big pause, and then... I hope this... The answer... Subject again. It could be, but yeah, so he made a transition to the relative major, I believe, right? Yeah, to F. The fugue subject is very Bach-like. We've actually talked about it in other situations. I'll show you. Like, this is like super Baroque. This is... And you can see, this is just so, this is just a Bach fugue. Secondary dominant. Big pause. So I said it's very sort of Bach-like, and it's because it. This is such really good interval. Good interval. Good interval. I'm only half kidding, because this is what it is. We're in D minor. This is the interval. So these two notes just surround like the key that we're in. So within this fugue subject, and so what it gives you is a really distinct leap. And it's distinct in like how it leaps, but then also musically, like what it does to your ear harmonically. It's really screaming that this is just D minor and nothing else. Yeah, he uses this exact thing. And there's one of his two-part inventions. It's just like, that's also screaming D minor. You just, like, let me just surround that. The pause on the diminished chord for the end is so goosebumps. Yeah, I love that. And I steal a lot of this stuff in the improvisations that I do for a couple different reasons. One of them is it may sound strange, but I've thought about this a lot. And I think it actually helps with my OCD. So what I mean by that is whenever I'm improvising, as some of you've seen, is that it can go on, like yesterday, one of them went on for over an hour. And part of the reason that is because I don't feel like the thing is finished. I don't feel very settled on whatever it was the last thing I played was. It doesn't feel very final. And this little set of moves here helps me feel settled in and feel like something's final. And that consists of two things. One is that diminished chord you're talking about, this secondary dominant chord, so we're in D minor. So the 5 chord is A, which means the secondary dominant chord, one of them could be, well, if we're talking about diminished chord, it's G sharp diminished. So that's what it would pause on, the So there's that move, and then the second one is this thing where you hold out this pedal, and if we're in D minor, we land on a D major chord. And the tonality we use, like what we use, We take the chords from D harmonic major. So like what you typically hear of is harmonic minor. It's where we get our chords from. Harmonic major is the same thing, except instead of the third being a minor third, it's a major third, and that gives you this. And it lets you land with like a really heavy a sense of like a plagal cadence happening. More so than if I were to do this. So with all that stuff combined, is your favorite thing? You like it more than Korn? So if we do in like it's like, hey, what's up, Christian? We could use this in a potentially even somewhat crude way to just bring ourselves to different keys too. Like that drum, yeah, when I So I'm gonna like try to surround notes or surround keys with these notes that I'm talking about. So for G minor, it's these two. And if you go to closely related keys, ones that are adjacent to each other on the circle of fifths, it makes it easier with this type of in this sort of style. So actually we can just move up. Because that's not the same as this. Pick wherever you want to go. It like kind of works with a major key, but in a major key, the 6th scale degree isn't a half step above the 5th, which we do have here. We have that. What's the easiest way to learn the chords other than practice? Well, I mean, even just practice doesn't work. I'd really suggest, at least for me, putting these things into practice and really, when you trying to improvise with them, just like I did, take a concept, take any concept. I do this on stream, whether people know it or not. A lot of times when I'm doing these improvisations, there will be something that'll link it together. And if you just take that one thing and try to do as much with it as possible, it helps you put it into practice, but also in a musical way. And it'll probably make your brain go like if you have if partway through you're going like, making those noises and those faces, then that means you're exercising your brain and you're doing it right. So I'm just taking this one thing and going like, oh, I'm going to take this concept of surrounding the key with the flat 6th scale degree and the sharp 7th and landing there. So D minor. And we can pick another one again and go G minor. You can even do, I say, if we added in the major chords, B flat, the major keys, B flat. And just do those things, and like, you may even find yourself doing something that's supposed to be an exercise and it can start to sound musical, but it's just finding a bunch of patterns. And you partly have to find them for yourself, which is what we were talking about earlier in the stream, is that even if you go to school, you can't go to music school and expect to just come out as like this all-knowing, all-powerful wizard musician. You have to like put these things into practice. And so I'm I'm just modulating to different keys using the same basic structure. I maybe should have said that before I started doing it, but and so and I feel like the more you restrict yourself, the better. Because it's an exercise. Like by putting restrictions on yourself, you're forcing yourself to do things you haven't done, and you're forcing yourself to find new pathways through things. Because you go like, okay, play whatever you want on the keyboard. It's like, okay. It's going to be much easier for you to fit the form you've already kind of built for yourself. But if you start to do something different and you make sure you're doing that thing that's different, it's really difficult, and it'll make your brain do that thing. But it helped. Like if we go, okay, that's like what the bass is gonna do, and we're gonna do something that's like a fugue where we go from whatever chord we start with, and then we're gonna use that thing. We're gonna find ourselves around to the dominant and do that. And make our way back to the tonic. And we can maybe go to, you can just pick another chord or another key center, something that's close to C is A minor, so we can do. And so we'd have to go to E minor here. And you can just keep moving around. Hey, Mr. Hayes, what's up? Thanks for the raid. Bugatti, Brett, welcome in. You move wherever you want. You can pick, I don't know, like, go to D, you can go to D minor. And then we'd have to go to A minor. Oops. That's the brain thing. And so this is all just almost just like a technical exercise. So I know that wasn't like very much of a. It wasn't sort of super organized or very like for step one do this, step two do this. Although I could sort of put it that way. Yeah, basically Mozart's dope. Yeah. Also, one of, speaking of favorites, one of my favorite chord progressions. One of my favorite chord progressions. Where are we? Yeah. Is it most replayed? Is that why it's not? No. This. It's great. Also has an augmented 6 chord in there. It has this except it's not like at pitch, whatever. Where does it go? Except that's actually. Okay, I gotta run for just a second. I'll be back in a couple of musics. Oh man, a couple of minutes and play more music. Also, that's a good question. Past Schnaff from 2021. What's up, Who Girl Blue? Okay. Yeah, I'll do a little bit more of this stuff. Again, I'm still not feeling the greatest, so I shouldn't stream for too long, but I hope you were able to get something from that little musical tangent. Also, one sec. Yeah, the stupid toilets, bro. Hold on. Sorry. I'll be back in just a second. Gotta deal with some fun stuff. Okay. Good night, Yellow Koala. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be it's one of the best. Yeah, my hands feel stiff after not really using it. I think it's a combination of two little pieces: Endecha, Endecha, and Oremus, Oremus. But yeah, it's so nice. This. I love it. And thanks for the claps. For broody and atmospheric stuff, I feel yeah on that one. This is not broody, but it's somewhat atmospheric, kind of. Not really. Yeah. Welcome in, pilot. Yeah, let me just play a Polyphia song on my acoustic guitar. Thanks for the claps. Okay, so it's been 3.5 hours. I think I'm gonna head out because again, I'm still not feeling the best, and I prefer not to get sick right before TwitchCon. When's TwitchCon? I fly out Thursday. It's the like sort of pre-first day is Thursday. So I'll be gone Thursday through Monday. It's this weekend. Yeah, it's definitely better to rest. So oof. Okay. Hey, what's up, Jags? Thanks, Jack. Thank you for all the hearts, everybody. Also, Sheik's Liar. Nice to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Although we are about to head out, unless you were lurking. All right. Let's do this. I'll find somebody to raid. You were looking for the last video. Okay, gotcha. You are very welcome, Raccoon. Yeah, I will be back Wednesday. It'll be the last stream before I go to TwitchCon. So after that, it'll be a week without streams, actually, now that I think about it. Unless I do some sort of collab type thing in San Diego. But if that happens, I'm not the one planning it. And I'm rooming with Mermaid Unicorn, and they're not planning it either. I don't think that's on our radar. Oh! Hello, Chelsea. All right, let's do this. Okay, encore, and then we'll rate someone. I was just about to head out, by the way, but let's do this. Okay. Um, thank you for the raid though. Let's do this. And to end it with a nice little woke flex from Jack. Hey, thanks for the claps, Captain. Also, what's up, Nick, if you can hear me? So, yeah, Chelsea, thank you again for the raid. Thank you for the follow as well. Oh, damn. And then Nick with a wokest flex, Captain with a woke flex. You guys are, you guys are going nuts. Yeah, it's pretty, man, it's pretty woke in here. Pretty woke in here. Also, who cares if Segovia judges me? That guy's a doofus. What does that guy know about? What the hell did that guy know about anything? Yeah, that's right. That's right. use my fingerings. Continue. Okay. All right. Who do we raid? What does he know? What is this guy's name? This guy's a... If you play my transcription, why you not use my fingerings? I don't like. I don't like. Okay. Okay, yeah, copy these raid calls. We're going to raid Hannah, who's playing piano and talking about stuff and things. Specifically, what's the most important thing you've changed your mind about? You are very welcome, Fair. Thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here and hanging out, especially as we did. I really like doing this stuff where we move away from just playing and start talking about the music. Composer was bok. That's, you should say that for the one. I have a question of the day coming up, which is, what's your favorite joke? Maybe I should do what's your favorite music joke, but. You've been lurking all night? Nice. I appreciate the lurk. But, yeah, I really should head out, eat something, try to sleep and rest. So I have energy for this weekend. But, yeah, I appreciate everyone being here, helping support the stream. And, yeah, let's go say hey to Hannah, and hopefully I will see you on Wednesday. Take care, everybody.